And here you go, an easy dozen. Your tortillas are nice, foldable, they're not gonna crack. One of the things that we are gonna share is that if you have your pan way too hot, you're gonna crisp up your tortillas. And this is just me being extra to prove to you that you can get soft tortillas even without your baking soda. Hello and welcome back to Views on the Road. I'm your host Steph, and today I'm gonna show you how to make the easiest flour tortillas from scratch. If you think I can't make tortillas, I've tried it, this recipe is going to be your go-to recipe, because if I can do it, you can do it better. And before I start this recipe, I want to let all the gentlemen on the channel know that I'm aware that you're there. I sometimes get excited because I'm very vintage. I usually hang around with the ladies and talk to the ladies, but the more you guys talk to me and let me know in the comments that you're there, the more I'm going to remember you. So I hope you forgive me, and that's the reason why I'm making you tortillas today. Now let's go over the ingredients. For this delicious recipe, you'll need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, plus a little extra for dusting. Half a cup of lard, 1 cup of room temperature water, and 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to start out by fluffing our flour so that we can get the exact amount that we need. Once you fluff it up, you're going to clear the top just like that. You can place it into your bowl. I'm using coarse sea salt, but if you're using table salt, you're going to stick to 1 teaspoon. I noticed that when I use this salt, which I get at the Korean market in a big bag, I tend to use about 1.5 teaspoons. So it's going to be up to you on how salty you want your tortillas, because if your salt is not perfect in your tortillas are not going to shine through with your family. So add your salt to your flour. Give that a loving mix. Now for your lard, my tip to you is try to find Morrell. If you don't have Morrell, go with Crisco. And if all you have is Armour, don't make them. The Armour lard, every time I've used it, it made my dough beyond sticky to the point where I couldn't blend anything. So please be mindful to yourself, be kind to yourself, because sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's the products that you're using. And if all else fails, go ahead and use butter. You'll be okay with that. They come out extra fluffy when you use butter. I am going to say, learn to make this without having to use any of your extra dishes in your home. And what I mean by that is that once you measure your cup, you're going to measure it to your hand. So once you have it to your hand, you can kind of eyeball about how much you need. So it's going to be give or take maybe a tablespoon, but it's not going to make a huge difference to where you're going to fail your tortillas. And now it's time to start dissolving our lard into our flour, and I start by squeezing a little bit at a time. And this part right here should only take you about 1.5 minutes to 2. And once you combine your lard into your flour, you're going to get this texture, almost like a crumble, but falls apart a lot softer. Nothing sticks. Even when you see these big chunky little balls, they fall apart. That's when you're ready to add your room temperature water. I'm going to start by adding half. And I'm going to start hydrating our flour. I'm going to pour half of what I have remaining. After you add all of your water, you're going to notice that your flour is nice and hydrated, because it looks almost like oatmeal sticky. Not to worry. That's what we need. Because if your flour is not hydrated, you get really stiff tortillas, and you don't want that. You want nice, fluffy, delicious tortillas. I'm going to dust my counter with about 1/4 of a cup of flour. And I'm going to use both of my hands to knead the flour until it's smooth. These days, it takes me about 4 to 5 minutes. And give or take, after 4 minutes, my dough is nice and smooth, nothing sticks. Some of you might need to knead it an extra few minutes just to get it this soft. I so happen to have a heavy hand and been doing this for a long time. So if it's not smooth after 4 or 5 minutes, not to worry. Just knead it until it's nice and smooth, just like this. Once you have a nice ball, you're going to get a little bit of your lard. Warm it up in your hands. You're going to cover it. You're gonna place it back into your bowl. And today I'm gonna kick it old school with you guys. I'm gonna use a damp cloth. Make sure to wring out all the water, and then you're gonna cover. And now you want to allow your dough to rest in the warmest spot in your kitchen. That doesn't mean leave it outside for the sun to hit it completely, but I'm going to place it in my oven at 0 degrees with the light on, just so it's nice and warm while our flour combines and just gets perfect for us to do our next step. It's been 15 minutes and our dough is nice, soft, and ready for us to make into little balls. Look at how soft our dough is. It's just beautiful. You see that? And now you want to start making little balls. These days I don't stress it to be perfect. I just make the balls the size of my hands, and that seems to work. This is the softest dough that I've worked with based on the measurements. And I know that if it's soft enough for me, it's going to be amazing to you guys. Give or take, you're going to end up with 10 to 12 tortillas. It's going to vary with the size of your hands and the way that you shaped your balls. Often you share with me that your tortillas look like maps, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. Take a little bit of lard, warm it up in your hands. Tap all of your little balls so they don't dry up in the process. And you're going to start rolling them up. And what I mean by rolling them up, it's smoothing them out. And when you roll your tortillas, you get a smoothness over the top so that whenever you're stretching your tortillas and making them round, they stay rounder than the map of your state. Okay, I'm not poking fun. I'm just listening to what you guys tell me. And when you feel that you've already used all the lard from your hands on your tortillas, you can do a little bit more. You know, warm it up and keep it going. For those of you that have ailments or arthritis and your hands hurt, not to worry. That's what the kids are here for you to pass down the recipe and show them how to make tortillas. Just be patient. They're learning. You see this little bubble here? That means that you kneaded your dough to perfection. These are going to be the softest, stretchy tortillas that you will ever make. And now we're going to allow them to rest for 5 minutes. And while you're resting your dough that second time, you want to get your cast iron started, or wherever you're going to be making your tortillas. I currently have this set on a medium-high heat so that when I come with my tortillas, I can lower the temperature because it has to be just right to get the perfect Sonoran style tortillas. It's been about 5 minutes and we're going to get started unrolling our tortillas. I like to take a little bowl and put some all-purpose flour, give it a press, turn it over, give it a press, and any excess, I dust it on my counter. This dough is so easy that I don't need to do the old school way for the ends. I just go around like this, and look at that. Nice and round. And now you're going to start rolling your tortilla. I like to make it into a sandal because it makes it for a nicer round shape for you, especially if you're a beginner. Gives you a point of reference. And I'm not pressing hard, it's just a light hand. This masa is so stretchy that you'll end up with a lot of folds because it's that pliable. And right here, I'm just reshaping it to make sure that we guarantee ourselves a round tortilla, and then I continue to stretch. I was making salsa, so excuse the cilantro. You see all these folds? That's because it's so soft. I'm better off just stretching it with my hand at this point. So just reshape it into the roundness that you love. And remember, your tortillas are not perfect. You're going to grab them, roll them in a burrito or with your guisados. Just as long as the flavor is there, that's a good starting point for you. Okay? Don't worry about being perfect. You'll get there. The more you make tortillas, the more of a pro you're going to be, and then boom, you're going to make tortillas just like this one day. And boom, done. Light and fluffy tortillas every single time. Ooh, that one's hot. Hot fire, so be careful. One of my favorite things about Sonoran tortillas, it's how thin and light they are, okay? They're not gonna lay heavy on your stomach. It is just a perfect combination for your guisados, your stews. They're so thin, you can see the pattern straight through the tortilla. Look at that. And here you go, an easy dozen. Your tortillas are nice, foldable, they're not gonna crack. One of the things that we are gonna share is that if you have your pan way too hot, you're gonna crisp up your tortillas. And this is just me being extra to prove to you that you can get soft tortillas even without your baking soda. I grew up not using it, and this is no different for me. So it should be super easy for you guys to get your tortillas done. And even the way that I folded them for you right now, you can just put them back together and no problems at all. For those of you that want to keep your tortilla balls for meal prep, I would suggest you press them like this and you place them in a bowl, so that they don't overlap each other. You can use a wax paper and continue the same process. Cover it and place it in your refrigerator. But before you start using them, you have to take them out and keep them at room temperature for about 30 minutes so that you can get a good stretch. If you try to stretch your tortillas right out of your refrigerator, it's going to be too cold and it's going to defeat the purpose of some delicious tortillas. And they're going to last you a good week, if not two, in your refrigerator because you have the lard. There's nothing that's going to ruin them. The only thing you have to check is for moisture. And if you have too much moisture, then you can put a little piece of a paper towel to absorb it and you should be set. You can show off any day out of the week if you pre-make these. So if you're going to make a batch, this recipe is good to duplicate or even do like quadruple amounts. It's such a forgiving recipe, and I'm so excited for you guys to try it. Remember to save your Ziploc bag, wash it, dry it out, and that's going to be just for your tortillas. You want to save on your plastic, and these, honestly, these are so durable, so you want to save them. What I do, I wait until my tortillas are nice and cool, fold them into a taco, and this is just a habit from growing up in a tortilla factory and making tortillas. So if they're too big, you can just keep them that way and seal the deal. Well, that one's a bit larger than the rest. Let's just give it a little scooch. And boom, done. You can place them into your refrigerator. They'll last a good 3 months in there. You know, these tortillas have been to the moon and back, so you guys are going to be good. Just going to add a little bit of butter to my tortilla. And for those of you that it's going to be your first time making tortillas and you're a little bit nervous, let us know in the comments. Cloud and I will catch it. Although I keep to myself a lot these days, it's God, family, and Views Club for me. We'll keep a close eye so that we can help you through your troubles, which this recipe, you're pretty much guaranteed. It's going to boost your ego, okay? And that's okay every once in a while. Just so long as you come from a good place. Now I'm going to need somebody very special that's subscribed to Views on the Road to say ah. Before I take a bite, I do want to share a few tips with you. If your burner is too hot, you're going to have really flaky, crispy tortillas, and they're not going to be soft and pliable. But if your heat is not hot enough, you're not going to cook it within the allowed time to have soft tortillas. So anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds with the right temperature. And as I mentioned, I start heating up my cast iron about 5 minutes on a medium-high heat. And once I cook my first tortilla, I know if I need to lower it or place it a little bit higher. And this is going to take time for you guys to get it done for those of you that are new. But those of you that know how to make tortillas, I think this is going to be your go-to recipe. So please come back and let me know what you think. So good.
Your original love.
My favorite comfort food. You can't go wrong with some tortillas.
What do you have in the back in the Instant Pot?
I have some beans because and lately I've been craving a lot of my comforting foods because I'm on a spiritual journey connecting more and more with God and with my community. So I'm keeping myself healthy and safe. For those of you that are going through a lot, whether you're stressed, your mental health has taken over, try this dozen of tortillas. Be patient with yourselves. And if this is your first time making these, allow yourself 2 hours. If you made tortillas before, you'll get these done in 45 minutes to 1 hour. So make a double batch for yourself and enjoy. Absolutely delicious. As always, Cloud and I are wishing you the best. We absolutely adore you. We hope that you had a lot of fun making tortillas with us. And thank you to everyone that left us a comment that your turkey turned out juicy and delicious to perfection, just like we love it. And on that one, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Adios.